where we talk about hacking with white hats and black hats. This is led by me, Charlotte Dungan. I am a teacher at the North Carolina School of Science and Math, and this video is produced in partnership with AI for Teachers, CS's Elementary, and funded by Infosys Foundation USA. Thank you for coming today. We're so excited to have adults and students learning cybersecurity. It's great that adults and kids can learn together because this stuff is important for all kinds of people. Cybersecurity, cyber is anything to do with computers and being online, and security is how we stay safe and private, is what we're learning about. And today we're going to learn about how systems can be broken or protected. There are 3 parts to cybersecurity. The first is confidentiality. That means that cybersecurity is like a police officer. Only the right people should be able to see your information. There's a guard at the door to make sure that only the right people can enter. The next part of cybersecurity is integrity. This is like a librarian. They make sure that the information that you receive is accurate and it's trustworthy. Did you get that file from the person who they say they are? Can you find all of your information with all of the pieces ready there for you? And finally, can you access your data at the time that you need it? Just like a UPS driver, you want to get your packages when you need them and trust that your internet will be fast and reliable. So cybersecurity is how people connect to their devices and how we stay safe online. We want the right people to see your own private information and keep the wrong people out. Today, we're going to learn how we do that and actually practice some games so that you can be a cybersecurity expert. So on our first 2 days, we focused on personal security. On day 3, we practiced cryptography, which is how we can use codes and ciphers. And we'll use that information today in day 4, where we put on our hacker hats, put on your hacker hat, and try some games that help us learn how cyber professionals, the white hats, and the bad guys, the cyber hackers, the black hats, try to break systems or fix them or keep them safe from those guys trying to get in. All right, so here we go. I'm going to start today by sharing with you we're going to use only one game. And so I'll show it to you in just a minute. But first, I'm going to show you how to get started before we sign in together, okay? So we're playing a game called CyberStart Go that has a time limit. There are only 60 minutes to play. And after the timer goes off, you won't be able to play unless you start over. So this is a game that you are not expected to finish in one time. I want you to keep that in mind because I don't want you to feel frustrated or upset that you don't get through, because you're not going to. It's too hard the first time. You're going to get through 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 challenges, maybe even 5 challenges, and that would be amazing. And then you go back and play again. And that game that seems so hard at first, gosh, it's going to feel a lot easier the second time. So I want you to remember that you're not supposed to finish everything today. You're supposed to come back and play again. Maybe someday you'll even get to that advanced challenge. So here we go. This is our website today, and I'm going to show you what to do before you get started. So remember, as soon as we click this begin button on the screen, the timer starts, and you just do as many as you can. Once you see the challenge page, it's going to give you some information. There's lots of challenges. You can read through this information if you'd like. Make sure you read the information, then try the challenge, and then you'll get the secret code. The way we'll do this is by playing. So you get to choose your agent name. I like to be Panda Girl. I'm Panda Girl. Okay, I'm gonna register, start playing. And registering just means that you put in that name. You can put any name you'd like, as long as it's appropriate for your classroom or your setting, okay? So you'll notice I have at the top a timer. It's way up here, and that's going to tell me how much time I have left to play. I also have a bar at the top here that tells me how many challenges I've done, how much more I have. So I can always look up here and see on any challenge page how much I've done and how much time I have left. I like to start with the easy challenges because they're easier. And you don't have to do them in any particular order. I'm going to start and play from left to right though, because that'll be easier for us to all play along. But if you are in the game and we're moving at a slightly different pace and you're working on a different challenge, that's okay. It's all right to play at a different pace. Make sure though that you finish the easy challenges before you go to the medium. And the hard one, don't do that one at all today because it's too hard. Okay, we're going to start with these easy ones. And the first one we're going to do, I'm going to show you how to use this whole interface, and then you'll get to play. And once you learn how to use the interface, you can play any of the challenges. So I'm going to click the play button right here. And this is age on the page. And there's a couple of features that I want to point out. I'm going to circle them with my pen. I'm going to make it a bright pink pen because this is a dark page. So when you do a challenge, if you get it right, it's going to give you a code that you put up here in this box, okay? That is how you complete the challenge, is by getting the special code. So if you don't have the code, you haven't completed the challenge. Even if you think you've got the right answer, make sure that you get the code in that box. The other thing is that if you want to go back and try a different challenge or switch challenges or just see where you're at, use this button. I typically do not use the on to the next one button because I like to go back and see where I am. And especially if we're playing all together, this will allow you to choose the next challenge that you want to play. So those are your navigation buttons. And then the most important thing, don't forget this piece, is that you have to read the challenge. I know that sounds obvious, but lots of kids want to read the title, age on the page, and they scroll down and they try to figure this out and they didn't read how to solve it. And it's really tricky. Maybe if you guess even the first one, that's great, but you won't learn the cyber concepts unless you read both this side over here. This is the information about the story, and the story of each page has information. It has tricks and secrets of what's happening on this page so that you can understand what to do. And you have the tips from Agent Q, and Agent Q tells you how to solve the puzzle. You need both of these things. I'm even going to put a plus sign in order to solve the challenges. Now the challenges are at the bottom. So if your browser or your iPad is shorter than mine, you might have to scroll down. It's no problem, just scroll down, and the challenge is at the bottom. Remember that the challenge starts right under pick another challenge to play. That means that this part here, the part that's pretending to be the browser, is often part of the game. It's not like in your normal browser where you ignore that after you've typed in or clicked a link. This part is actually part of the game because one way that hackers access systems is by modifying the link, which we call a URL. Okay, that URL, that where it says HTTP, that is one thing that you can modify to play a game. So not every challenge or even most challenges use that, but just be aware the game starts right under this text here. Okay, so this first one, we're going to start it together, and I'm going to give you the link real quick so that you can start the game with me, and then you'll get to play the first challenge on your own. So here's the link. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cyberstart, go! Cyberstart, go! All right, you're going to go to go.cyberstart.com, and you are going to go through those first steps that we just talked about, where you're going to click begin, you're going to choose your agent name, you're going to look through the tutorials, and if you need more time, just pause here and do that, and then come back and we'll start this first challenge. Okay, so the first challenge is this game that we were playing on the screen. Let me pull it up here. Oh my goodness. Okay. And the first thing we're going to do is read it. Now, I'm not going to read all of these to you, but I am going to read this first one because we're practicing. And it says, there's a top secret briefing. Our agents are trying to get access to the social media account of a gang member on the site called Gulig, using the password reset form. They're trying to get into someone's account. We already have 2 key pieces of information that we got from their posts on other sites, a username and their favorite color. See if you can use what we have to guess the answer to the remaining question. If you guess the age right and submit the form successfully, you'll get the answer code. When you get it, put it in the box above and click Submit Code to complete the challenge. Now, this says a top tip from Agent Q says, what you post on one site can help hackers gain access to your accounts on other sites. You can also accidentally give away clues about yourself. For example, what do you think the 1986 means in the username? So that's a clue. When they give you some information, when Agent Q gives you information, that is a clue. You're going to need to use it for your solution. So if we have a date, 1986, and we're calculating an age, that might be something tricky that you need to figure out, maybe using some math. The other thing I wanted to show you here is that this puzzle has the favorite color specified. It tells you that it's yellow, but the number of colors that people would enter is actually very small. So even if we only had the username and we wanted to only, figure out the age, we could probably only choose from a few values of favorite colors in order to guess this. Favorite color is not really a secure way to secure a website. So usually we would use something like a password, right? This is a reset password page. And so when you're using a reset password question, you might want to think about how you pick your answers, because you don't want to pick something that's too obvious. The favorite colors would probably be red, yellow, blue, green, orange, purple, maybe teal, black, white, gray. Maybe that's 10 possibilities total. So when you're choosing a password for yourself and a password secret where they ask you maybe your pet's name or something, instead of choosing something that you may have online, like the name of your dog, you might actually choose your favorite stuffed animal, which would be much more private and much less likely to be guessed. So those are just some suggestions. Now you're going to play the game and you're going to put in your answer here in the form under your age. Maybe I make a guess, 123, and I submit it, and I'm going to get the wrong answer. So once I get the right answer, I'll get a code, and I'll put that code up here in the purple box up here. Okay. When you get the code, there's also a click link where it copies the code. The code for every challenge is case sensitive. That means a capital G is not the same as a lowercase g, and you need to put your answer code in just right. The easiest way to do that is to click the link that shows, and I'll show you that in just a minute. But for now, it's your turn to play this challenge. I'm excited to have you try and see if you can figure out, just like a hacker, how you could get the password from someone. And this is what a black hat hacker would do if they wanted to get information to try to get someone's information. The white hat hackers try to stop them. So here we go. Your turn. Complete the challenge, and we'll come back in just a minute. Okay, did you get a chance? Did you figure it out? Were you able to figure out how to get that up there? I hope so. I hope you were able to solve the problem. Okay, so if you've solved it, you have a message that says, success, the flag is, and it's got a code. The flag is what is used when white hat hackers are practicing how to hack. They put in their favorite code, and they're able, when they solve a problem in the game, they're given a flag instead of actually breaking a system. And when you find the flag, you put the flag in to the answer code. And the message you have is to click here to copy and paste into the submission box. And when you submit that, that's how you're able to complete the challenge. I don't want to show you the answer. Hopefully you're figuring it out. Even if you haven't solved it yet, Keep trying. And remember, the briefing gives you the information that you need, and Agent Q tells you how to solve it. Wonder how old that person is if their username contains the date 1986. Okay, I'm going to go back to the Back to Challenges page, and we're going to start there and play together. Okay, so if you're somewhere else, let's meet up here on the Cyber Challenges page, and I'll show you what that looks like. You should have already added your agent name. I've completed my first challenge because I put in my flag, and you can see I'm 8% completed and I have 48 minutes remaining. What that means is if I don't finish every challenge in 48 minutes, this will reset. But I know how to do the first challenge. I already solved it, and hopefully you did too. If you haven't yet though, you still have 48 minutes to try. Now we're going to try the second challenge. And if you need more time, you can keep working on the first or come along with me to the second. It's okay to pause here, take time to complete the challenge, work through the ways that you solve them together with your peers, and then move to the next one. This is a great place to pause if you need a little bit more time before we come back and do the second challenge. But right now we're going to start wrong place, right time. Click to play. Okay, so remember, we're going to read at the start. We're going to check the top tips for how to solve this problem. And then we check the information down below in order to enter the code here. So this one, you're figuring out what the answer might be and entering it in this box. And if you get it right, you'll complete the challenge. Go ahead and take a minute now in order to work on this challenge, and we'll come back again in just a minute. Hey, we're back. If you're still working on this challenge, if you're trying to figure out how to get to the wrong place at the right time, I want to make sure that you've seen some hints. And if you still need more time, you can always pause. You don't have to keep going. You can just pause before you watch the rest of this. Take a look at what it tells you to do. It says, Sanford likes coffee shops. He's been to these two. And if you find the right coffee shop, the answer code you need is its building number. If you enter that into the form above, you'll complete the challenge. So you can scroll down and see if you can find some numbers that might be the answer related to those two pieces. Go ahead and try, and we'll see you back in a minute. Okay, so if you got that challenge right, it says, that's correct, well done, you got it right. Then you'll go back to challenges. If you've put in an incorrect answer, you can try as many times as you need to get the solution. When you try something over and over and over, for example, maybe you've put every number on the page in that box one by one. That's called a brute force solution. And it means that you have simply entered in every possible answer. That's a way that some hackers solve problems by using a computer program to enter in a number one after another. If you can imagine a 4-digit PIN number or something like that, where there's only 10,000 guesses, it might not take too long for a computer to try all 10,000 possibilities. And so that's a way that brute force is one way to solve a problem, but it doesn't get you into the higher level types of problems. So it's better to read the directions and try again. Okay. So if you have completed the wrong place, right time challenge, that's great. You can move on. We're going to move to the next challenge. If you need more time on wrong place, right time, you can take that time or move to back to age on the page. It's okay to move at your own pace in this particular game. So here we are back on our list of challenges. You probably have some time remaining. You've completed some number of challenges. And if you're just wanting to jump in to see the next challenge, maybe you're having a frustrating moment. You're not sure how to play the next game, the game that you've already were on. That's okay. We can always move to a different one. These challenges have different ways of solving, and certain puzzles are easier or harder for certain people. It's okay to not be able to solve each one of them. Okay, so we're going to play column confusion. That's this one on the right here, and we're going to play it together by hitting the play button. Play. There we go. It's working slowly. I hope it's working. Let me stop sharing for just a minute and we'll see if we can start column confusion. I'm noticing that I'm having a little bit of internet lag, which can sometimes be frustrating. Gosh, do you guys have that problem sometimes too?
Hey friends, I apologize for our minor disruption in services here, but Miss Charlotte has appeared. Give us just a moment to see if she comes back, but I'm curious to see how are these puzzles going so far for you. You can chat me, let me know if anyone is stuck, maybe if anybody needs a hint, or if anybody has any suggestions for maybe something that was a little bit challenging for you that you think might be challenging for somebody else. Chat me and let me know. Yeah, these are a little bit tricky, aren't they? But I think it's it's a really good real life practice for the types of things that cybersecurity experts and specialists, look at on a day-to-day basis, and the types of minute details they have to pay attention to, and how do you read between the lines and between what's there to try to solve these codes. It can be really fun, but it can be really, really tricky. And here she is.
What was funny was I had a little trouble with Zoom. It didn't want me to let me back in as a panelist. So we worked it out. I found a link that worked, and gosh, Isn't it funny when cybersecurity happens? Like I had a network problem in the middle of a cyber class. So here we are. It will all work out and we'll start on our third challenge. Does that sound good? Where are we at, Julie?
Oh, that sounds absolutely perfect. We were just discussing that. Yeah, some of these puzzles are a little bit hard, and how sometimes, the answers aren't very obvious. You have to read, on the page really carefully and make some guesses, but it's good practice for the types of things that cybersecurity professionals do every day.
Oh, that's part of the fun, is the puzzle part. Sometimes kids really want the answer. They want to get the answer right. So we'll talk about that and then we'll get started with the next challenge. How does that sound? Okay, great. Let's get started from here. So we are working on starting the third challenge. And by now you may have figured out that it's not really about the answer, that it's about the puzzle, about the figuring out. And cybersecurity professionals are often puzzled and maybe even frustrated. It can be frustrating to not know the answer, to want to solve a problem and you just don't know quite yet. And cybersecurity people who like to do hacking, are willing to figure out those problems. And all of the information you need is hiding in those 2 paragraphs at the top. It's all giving you hints and clues in order to solve a problem. And that's often what cybersecurity professionals have to do. If they're trying to stop a bad guy, they don't know what the bad guy's going to do in advance. And they have to try things and test and pretend to be the hacker sometimes in order to keep their system safe. So sometimes they help each other. They test each other's systems. One person is trying to get in and the other person is trying to get them out. And you can often find ways to keep a system safer by pretending to hack it. So you get to do that today. You're getting to have practice on doing cybersecurity. So here I am moving quickly through the front of the screens. You guys have done all of this already. And I am Unicorn Girl. And I'm going to start, I get a new timer. So I'm going to start here on the play button of column confusion. I'm going to play this third challenge right here. And when I play that, remember that when I take on a challenge, I want to read the top secret briefing and look for clues, what might help me to know what to do, and read this part on the left that tells me how to solve the problem. There's a big word on this puzzle, and so I want to make sure I show it to you, and it's called a transposition cipher. Transposition just means moving something around. So if you have a code, if I give you a word like word, that word is in order, W-O-R-D. But if I cut it all up with scissors and I handed you a D and an R and an O and a W, you might have to move them around in order to get the word. So in this one, there's a coded message. It was sent between 2 hackers and it has the name of a street where they plan to meet up. So when we read the message, we're going to be looking for the name of a street. And columnar transposition just means that they took a book and they cut up the words like this. So they cut up big lines of the book and we just have to put the lines in order. And so these can move around like this. See how they can move back and forth? And so right now, if we read this, it doesn't make any sense because JHNOMETEABA doesn't make a word. But if we move these around to another order, we might find that they actually spell something. So in this columnar transposition, you are going to read, make the message make sense. It will make sense, but the words will be in various orders. And once you've made sense of the order and you can read it, what do we put in the box for the answer code? we put in the box? We put what it says in our briefing, the name of a street. So once you've solved the message, the answer you put in is not the whole message. It's the name of a street. And now you get to play. So take a turn now and come back in a few minutes. Okay, right now we are working through the challenge of solving a puzzle called column confusion. Column confusion, we have to move around the columns of information until our code is able to be seen. So we're making a message, and sometimes it helps to work on the first, like if this is a message in a book, we should be able to find maybe the first word or maybe the last word, and that might help us to sort this out. So if there are 4 columns, there are not very many possibilities in order for us to put these in order. We can maybe even make a pattern of math in order to figure it out. Like if we leave one column in a space, we could put one next to it, and a next to it, and a next to it. And if that one doesn't work, then we're going to leave the first one alone and the second one alone and just reverse the back 2. Does that give us a word? No, it doesn't. Okay, so then we can use a pattern. We're still leaving this one here, right? And we've reversed the back 2. So now we can play with this third one. Let's put the third at the end. Did we get a word? No. So we can reverse the last 2. Did we get a pattern? No. So if we follow a pattern for trying to solve the problem where we're looking for a word at the top, then it might be easier for us to solve this challenge. We're able to slide words over, and then if our word didn't start with H, then we pick a new letter to start with. And using a pattern will make it easier for us to see if we can find the possibilities. Okay, I'm gonna give you one more hint. The first line is a name. See if you can figure it out. The first line is a name. All right. If you need more time, that's fine. You can pause and you can keep working on solving this problem. It is a good one, fun challenge. And if you are ready to move on, we're going to go to onto the Back to Challenges page, and we're going to cover the 4th Secure Server challenge. This one, remember, you can always pause. You can keep working on a challenge. You can go back to one that you've tried before. The goal today is maybe to just complete 1. And the next time you can complete 2. And then the next time you can complete 3. But read carefully what the information is required and look for patterns. That's what cybersecurity experts do. So this time we're going to play a game called Secure Server, and I'm going to go there right now. Here we are. We're on our challenges page. We can see how much we've completed. I've only completed 1 challenge, and that's fine. I'm happy with that. I've got plenty of time. And if I came back, I remember how to do this one, so I'll be able to be really quick in the future. So now we're playing Secure Server. I'm going to hit click play. And this is where we are going to help a company protect their web servers. That's how internet traffic happens. And there's a warning on the server page. So we're going to see if we can fix it. Now, this, if you've played day 1 and 2 of personal security, you'll know that password security is really important. And that if you have a really easy password, like 12345 6 QWERTY ASDF, maybe your name with 1 2 3 on it. Those are able to be hacked really fast, super fast. So we don't want to do that. And this is how a person who's setting up a web page can make it more secure. So this has a lot of fancy words. Don't worry about that. What you want to see here is that this password on this website right now has a minimum length of 4. Is that a good idea to only have 4 letters required for a password? Probably not. You probably need something much longer. What's a long password? It would be 8 letters, 12 letters, 15 letters, 20 letters. In this program, you get to decide the shortest password that you feel like is safe. And you want to put a number in here that would be something that's safe. Now notice, remember, there's some clues from Agent Q, right? It says this has a weak minimum password length. It should be much bigger than 4, and it doesn't require uppercase letters or numbers. So if you improve these, you'll make your server more secure and you'll be able to finish the challenge. So on this one, you don't need to worry about these other things. The reason that they're here is that they want to show you what a real interface would look like, what a real computer program, if you were setting up a password security, would look like. You can skip those top ones and just worry about how long should a password be? Maybe pick a number and put it in here. You can change it. Maybe mine's 500. It's probably too long, right? Nobody writes a 500 number password. So think about a normal number for your password. And then in this one, does your password require an uppercase letter? Right now, it says it's false. What's the opposite of false? It's true, right? So when you want to change a value, you can type the word true, and you can change whether or not your password requires uppercase, whether it requires a special character. Special characters are not letters and numbers. They're things like exclamation point, $sign, period, anything that isn't a letter or number. And a lot of places make you use one because it makes your password much more secure. If we're just guessing between 4 numbers, there's only 10,000 possibilities. If we add numbers plus lowercase letters plus uppercase letters plus those special characters, now the possibilities for your password are actually in the billions. So we want that big number where it's really hard to guess, even if a computer system is trying to guess your password. So we can change some of these things to true. And remember that the ones we're focusing on are password length, uppercase letters, and whether or not we require numbers, maybe even those special characters. If you see something else that is not one of those things, it's okay to try changing it, but maybe stick with what Agent Q says. See if you can improve this cybersecurity password creation. And let's see if we can give that a try. All right, you take a turn now, and we'll come back in just a minute and play again together. Okay, remember, if you need more time, that is completely normal. You can pause and you can come back and try again. I want to give one more clue about the secure server challenge. There are many fields that you're able to change, but you only need to change 4. Try that and see if it works for you. Okay, if you make 4 changes, and those would be numbers and true false choices, you'll probably get the answer right. Make sure though that you type the word true with the letters TRUE. If you spell true wrong, it won't work. So make sure that you do that. Okay, and you can pass this challenge with only 3 changes to the code. I did 4 because I thought it was a better choice. So see if you can solve that last challenge, and always pause or go back and play something else. Don't feel like you have to follow me. I'm just showing you the various challenges, right? So now I can see my bar, how much time I have left, how many I've completed. Your numbers might be different than mine. Just remember that if this countdown gets to 0, it means you're going to come back and play those challenges again. And where it may have taken you 30 minutes to do one challenge, the next time you play it, it'll probably only take you 5 minutes. And you'll get much faster if you play it again and again. When you're practicing something like basketball, you don't just go to one practice and then think you're going to be an expert. You keep going, and maybe you go 2 times a week, or maybe you go every day after school, or maybe you play on the playground with your friends. Maybe you visit the Y with your family and shoot some hoops. Maybe you go outside to the park because you really like to practice basketball. Maybe your neighborhood has a hoop or a driveway that you know, and you're able to go out and practice and practice. And if you miss one shot, you probably don't go, oh, can't play basketball ever again. You probably keep practicing. And that's what cybersecurity is like. It's like, it can be challenging. And just like if you had a couple of games or a couple of times with your friends where you just weren't doing very good, you just have to keep playing. And cyber is the same. So if you're frustrated, don't give up. Come back tomorrow, play again, and you'll find that those difficult challenges, if you read the clues closely, get a little bit easier. Okay, we're going to play one more. It's this one. It's called FR01, Information Overload. And so let's play that one together. And if you didn't get some of the others, no big deal. We can always start fresh on a new challenge. And this one says, our hacker group agents have been following and started sending large blocks of text to each other. The weird thing is they don't seem to mean anything. Oh, but there's hidden secret codes. You have to find the secret code hiding below. And our top tip from Agent Q, forensics means looking at lots of things that don't seem to mean anything and finding the one small thing that matters. So this text that's hiding below is in an old language called Latin. It is related to other languages like French and Italian and Spanish. Those are Latin type languages. Some of English is based on Latin, but most of us can't read it. So there's all these tricky, things we can't read. And so you are looking for a secret thing in this text, and you're going to have to use your noggin and sort through all that stuff that's Latin to find the secret key. So you just have to look through. That's what forensics people do. They look for the one clue in the haystack, and what you're looking for here is something you can read. So you'll need to take a minute and look through the clues. And then when you find it, kind of like a word search, you're looking for that difficult word that you can't find because they've put it upside down and backwards, and in a word search, sometimes they hide them that way. In this case, the word is 4 words. It's not a trick like a word search. It is 4 words, and it's in English, but it's hiding around all of this other text. And so you're going to be looking for the English word that you can read, that you can enter for the answer code. When you find it, you have completed this challenge. There's no other secret except looking carefully through all of the Latin to find the word that you can read. Okay, great. Have fun with that challenge, and we'll be back in a minute. You probably need more time to complete the challenge that we just looked at. And that's okay, because it does take a little while. I did want to say, though, that once you find the code, you do have to enter it in. Remember, these are very specific. You can't add an extra letter on the end. You can't put a capital letter where there's a small letter, a lowercase letter. So make sure that you write it in precisely, exactly, perfectly as it's written. The code can't be changed at all. It has to be spelled right. It has to not have a space before or after it. And if you are struggling to enter the code, but you've found it, you can always copy and paste also to make sure that you're not missing an extra letter, or maybe, I don't know, put an S on the end or something like that. So make sure that you check and put the code in the top left box in order to solve the challenge. Okay. All right. I think we have time for one medium challenge, and it's my favorite. So I want to make sure you can do the medium challenges. I want you to continue and keep playing and seeing if you can figure all these. Actually, Alarms Ahoy is also super fun. I don't think we'll have time to play it today, but I hope that you try Alarms Ahoy too, because once you've finished the easy challenges, the medium challenges are pretty fun. So we're going to play fingerprints because I think it's really cool. The way this one works is that there's a secret lockup used by a gang of hackers, and they use an electronic keypad, but the people only touch the keys that are used to get into their building. They don't touch the other keys because you never have to touch those. So when we look at the pad, if you look carefully and closely at them, you'll see that there are fingerprints on the numbers that they use. And this particular computer system, this one right here, they know you can't enter the same number again. So we're going to use a method of solving this problem of figuring out with brute force what the passcode is. And the way we do that is the same way that we solved the problem with the letters that we had to move around in the columns and the blocks. And that is by following a pattern. So there's a type of math where you figure out how many combinations are possible. In this case, there are 4 numbers, and we can start with the 4th number and have 3 more. 4 times 3 is 12. And then there are 2 more numbers, and that's 24 times 1 is 24. So only 24 possibilities here of how there might be a solution to this keypad. So I don't want you to feel like it's overwhelming. You can probably even write down all the numbers and possibilities. For example, if I start with the number 7, and I'm going to only do answers that start with the number 7 to start, then I'm going to put in the number 4. Okay. And now all my answers to start are going to start with 7, 4. Now I only have 2 more possibilities, 7, 4, 2, 5, and 7, 4, 5, 2. So I'm going to do 5, 2 this time, and I'm going to hit enter. Oh, red, I didn't get it. Okay, so now I'm going to try the other one, 7, 4, 2, 5. Perfect. I did enter, or I won't check it. There we go. Okay, that didn't work. So now I've tried 7, 4 and all the possibilities. So now I'm going to switch, and I'm going to do 7, 5, and then I'm going to try 2, 4, and 4, 2. I'm looking for that pattern where I'm using the same numbers every time in this puzzle so that I can make sure to try all of the possibilities. And if I start with the first, I start with 2 numbers, 7, 4, and I try the other 2 and flip them over. And then I do the same thing with a different number, 7, 5, and then I'll do 7, 5, 2, 4, 7, 5, 4, 2. Let's do that. 7, 5, 4, 2. No good. 7, 5, 2, 4. No good. I knew that one. Okay, so then I tried 7-5, and I've already tried 7-4. Then I would try 7-2, and I would flip around the two numbers, 4-5 and 5-4. And then I could start with a new number. Maybe I start with 2, maybe I start with 4. And as long as I follow a pattern, I can try every combination of numbers. It's really easy to do this on paper. So if you have paper and you can write down all of the combinations, and you can very easily see, okay, I've tried all the possibilities with 7, all the possibilities that start with 4, all that start with 2, all that start with 5, then I can pretty quickly try every combination and open this. That's how I will solve it. So that's why when Agent Q says you'll need to be systematic if you want to do it quickly. Systematic means you have a system. You're always starting with one number, starting with a second number, and then switching around those other two. And if you do that, this is a good skill because having a pattern allows us to solve the problem more quickly than just randomly typing in different numbers each time. You might get lucky and type in the right number if you just randomly type, but you might enter the same thing over and over and not ever find the puzzle. So when this block, when you type in a number, there we go. And when you type in that number, it'll turn green. And that's when you'll be able to get the answer code. That's how you solve this one. So take a minute, see if you can play this puzzle, and we'll come back together in just a second. Okay, I know you're not done. I know. But I want to show you Alarms Ahoy before we sign off for today. It is super fun. So if you want to keep working on your other challenges, that's completely fine. Alarms Ahoy is fun because you have a warehouse right here, and you can turn the cameras and the alarms on and off. But they thought it wasn't safe to have an alarms off button down here. So they just took the button away. And you'll notice if I turn things on, they turn green. The little circles turn green. If I turn the cameras off, those are the cameras that turn red. If I turn the alarms on, the building is green. But how do I turn the alarms off? So there's the cameras on, there's the cameras off. Oh, see, there they go. Okay. So the secret to this one is tricky. Okay. It's not on this part of the page. Remember, there's some place I told you to look at the start of where things might change. Look for what's changing that's not on the security panel. If you're playing this game and you're looking for maybe some words that are changing as you play, that will help you to solve this problem, okay? I want you to look for words that are changing as you play, as you push these buttons. What words, not the colors, but the words, what words are changing in order to solve this problem? See if you can solve it. So as you play today, you will have a certain amount of problems that you've completed. You will have a certain amount of time, and you won't have finished everything. That's okay, because this is meant for you to come back and play again and again, and you'll feel more confident the next time you come and play. Especially if you play the next day, maybe you won't remember the exact number, but you'll know the ways to solve a problem. This is really actually how cybersecurity professionals do their job. They sort through mountains of data to find one secret code. They look for problems that are written because someone didn't make a password secure. They actually look at people's usernames and find information that allows them to hack into accounts and then secure those accounts. If you think that you can play this hard challenge, I will just tell you this one hint, okay? And that is, it's meant for you to use the internet to solve. There's no way that you can solve this hard challenge just by looking at the code. It's written in a language that even I don't know. And the way that a lot of times cybersecurity professionals work together is by talking to each other on the internet. So I don't want you to play the hard challenge because it requires you to be on the internet. looking for a solution in a way that cybersecurity professionals would do that. So if you want to tackle the hard problem, it should be maybe all together as a group with an adult who's helping you to search for the correct code. The hard challenge is for you to do only with a grown-up because it requires you to look up a language that is not common anymore. In general, you'll have the most fun if you stay down here at the easy challenges and maybe one or two of the medium challenges. I hope that you have had a really fun time today learning some real cybersecurity challenges and how real developers and programmers try to keep their systems safe and appropriate for everybody to use safely without worrying about their data getting caught by a hacker. So join us next time on day 5 for more cybersecurity. See you soon.